The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 5, marked for destruction by Dr. Doom. You are looking at one of the few candid action films ever taken of Spider-Man by a newsreel photographer. By now, the whole world knows Spider-Man's existence, but the world doesn't know his true identity or his real motives. And that is what this program intends to investigate.
My name is Jonah Jameson, publisher of Now Magazine and the Daily Bugle. I am sponsoring this program in the public interest to expose Spider-Man to the public as the menace he is.
Any TV show about the colorful Spider-Man is bound to attract a large audience. Even teenagers at a local bowling alley interrupt their game to view the program.
I say that Spider-Man belongs behind bars.
Why, imagine Jameson sponsoring his own program just to attack Spider-Man. Jameson's not so dumb, just getting good publicity for his mag making all this fuss.
Yeah, personally, I think that Spider-Man's the coolest.
I mustn't say anything to make them suspect me. I'll talk against Spider-Man. You can't tell. Jameson may be right. Nobody really knows Spider-Man. It's a cinch you don't, panty waist. You'd probably faint if you ever caught sight of him.
I would too, from sheer excitement. I'll bet he's real handsome under that silly mask of his.
Go on, Parker, get lost. You're in the wrong place anyhow. This is a bowling alley, not a knitting parlor. That's it, Flash. Keep it up. One of these days you'll go too far and you'll never know what hits you. There's even a limit to Spider-Man's patience.
But in another part of town, another listener hears Jameson's program, a strange and sinister listener.
My papers are offering $1,000 reward to anyone who can disclose Spider-Man's true identity.
Spider-Man? He may be just the one I've been seeking. Each time I attacked the Fantastic Four in the past, they have fought me to a standstill. Alone, I do not seem able to defeat them. But with one such as Spider-Man at my side, even that accursed quartet would not be able to save themselves from my wrath. Ordinary men tremble at the mention of my name. The entire civilized world fears the menace of Dr. Doom. And yet, in one respect, I have been foiled time and time again. No matter how perfectly I lay my plans, the Fantastic Four have always managed to frustrate me. I still remember our last parting.
Hey, come back. You can't cheat out of my revenge this way.
Ben, get out of the way. I can still reach and grab him.
Ben, no. It's too late now.
Swiftly, silently, the awesome form of the greatest menace of our age plummets earthward, down, 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 until it is lost from our sight in the billowing clouds below.
Once under cover of the clouds, the jet-powered flying belt I wore enabled me to glide to safety, to repair to a new lair where I could lick my wounds like a vanquished beast. But now that is all behind me. Now it is time to strike again. With the aid of that imprisoned spider, I will transmit a message to Spider-Man using his own wavelength. In some strange way, he has the sensory powers of a spider, and so it was a simple matter for one of my genius to create this spider wave transmitter.
Calling Spider-Man. Calling Spider-Man. I must contact you at once.
Meanwhile, at home, Peter Parker practices his agility with his web in the privacy of his room.
If the gang at the bowling alley could see me now.
Calling Spider-Man. Calling Spider-Man.
I can sense a message. Someone is trying to reach me. Who can it be? How could anyone have figured out a way to reach me through my spider sense? Well, there's only one way to find out. It's a simple matter for me to follow the sensory impulses to their source. Boy, it's great to be getting back into action again.
But perhaps Spider-Man would not be quite so enthusiastic if he knew who was waiting for him at his ultimate destination.
It should be child's play for me to persuade Spider-Man to join me against the Fantastic Four.
Well, I guess this is the place. Now to... Holy smoke! I know that guy anywhere. It's Dr. Doom. So it was you who tried to contact me, Doom. It would have had to be someone with your talent, but why? Ah, Spider-Man, is it necessary for you to make your entrance quite so dramatic, my impetuous friend? Mister, from what I've read about you, you haven't got any friends, impetuous or otherwise. Friendship is for weaklings. What I offer you is power. Together we could rule the world. You're an outcast, the same as I. You dare not reveal your true identity, and yet, right under your nose, the Fantastic Four basks in the limelight, while you are shunned and hunted. I'll appeal to his sense of envy, of pride. Then, once he has served his purpose, I'll destroy him without a second thought. Me team up with you, huh? Man, wouldn't that be a gasser? Jonah Jameson would really have something to howl about then. Ah, so you will do it. Speak. Give me your word. Not so fast, Tinhead. Sure, it's an amusing thought to kick around, but just between us, I need you like I need another nose. The answer is no, Buster. I warn you, if you are not with me, then we are deadly foes. Doc, you're scaring me plumb out of my wits. Here, chew on this hunk of web for a while. That'll keep you under wraps while I figure out what to do with you. Say, how come you're so quiet? So still? Cat got your tongue? You brazen fool, haven't you guessed yet? It wasn't you at all. Just a robot. A dummy made up to resemble the real Dr. Doom. Naturally, you are not fighting one of your usual insipid antagonists now, Spider-Man. Dr. Doom cannot be trapped so easily. But Spider-Man can. You didn't expect a trap door to open beneath your feet, did you? Say, I'll bet you'd be a wow at Coney Island Funhouse. You don't think a feller with the reflexes of a spider is gonna tumble down a corny trap door, do you? Perhaps not, but for your sake, I hope you don't think you've escaped me already. The accident which years ago made a shambles of my face didn't affect my strength at all, as you can see. Oof. And I am not entirely without little weapons of my own, such as this most effective miniature finger gun. Nice try, Rattletrap, but I saw that coming seconds ago. I'll say so long for now, Doc. I don't make a habit of being a human target for big bad villains. If I twist and turn just the right way, I'll miss the ledge below and land safely in the water. Looks like my hours of agility practice are really paying off. He escapes me. Well, I'll let him go for now, but he shall still serve my purpose, only in a way he cannot possibly suspect. The first thing I shall do is learn Spider-Man's true identity. That will make it easier for me to capture him. And then, once I have him helpless, I'll use him to bait my deadly trap for the Fantastic Four.
Meanwhile, hundreds of feet below.
I hope that refugee from a nightmare factory doesn't think he's seen the last of me, because now I'm gonna tackle him in earnest.
But by the time the colorful crusader reaches the roof...
Holy Hannah, what was that? Doom was one step ahead of me. He blew up the deserted building before I could get back at him. He's probably miles away by now, planning his next move. Well, time enough for him later. I'll snap a few pics of the burning building. Old Skinflint Jameson may be willing to pay Pete Parker for them, if they're exclusives. Look, there's Spider-Man. It must have been him who blew up the building. Just my luck, that crowd sees me. Now I'll probably be blamed for the fire, too.
The next day, at the offices of J. Jonah Jameson.
Alright, Parker, I'll buy those pictures of the fire from you, but what I really want are pics of Spider-Man. I'd love to be able to pin this fire on him. Here's my chance to needle the old windbag a little. I don't know, Mr. Jameson. People are beginning to say you attack him too much. They're beginning to wonder what your real motives are.
I think Parker is right, sir. I've heard some of our readers mention that they think you're jealous of Spider-Man for some reason.
Well, I never knew I had an ally in JJ's secretary, and I never realized how pretty Betty Brant was either. Till now. That's enough. I'm still the publisher here, and I'll decide our editorial policy. I have only one real motive, to make money. The more I attack Spider-Man, the more people read my papers. It's to our advantage to keep pounding away at the corny costume clown. Everybody is interested in him. Whether they agree with me or not, doesn't matter. Spider-Man sells papers. Understand? I sure do, you big blustering phony.
A short time later, in another part of town.
Oh boy, what a terrific gag this'll be.
Or Peter, he'll never get over it.
Where is Peter Parker? I want him. Bring him to me. Well, how do I look? Will puny Parker fall for it?
Like a ton of bricks. Flash, you're a genius.
Owls did a great job on the costume. This'll teach our bookworm buddy to knock Spider-Man.
And so, our web of fates draws tighter. Now, back to the devious Dr. Doom.
There, I've devised an instrument which will react to a spider's impulses the way a Geiger counter reacts to uranium. All I need is to scour the city until the dial registers positive, and I will have found Spider-Man's real identity. When one is a master of science as I am, there is nothing much which cannot be accomplished. Sooner or later I shall eliminate all those who dare oppose me.
Not long afterwards.
There's Parker now. We've got to tell Flash. I bet you he'll jump clean out of his skin when he sees Spider-Man. This'll be the greatest gag of the century. My device is beginning to register. I'm nearing my prey. Flash, hurry! Parker's walking by along front street. Okay, everything's set. You guys hide somewhere and watch the free show. Parker will be the laughingstock of the school when I'm through with him. If he's too yellow to fight, this is one way to show him what we think of him. According to my dial, the real Spider-Man is almost directly below me now. There he is. Strange, he's wearing his costume in broad daylight. Well, no matter, within seconds he'll be my helpless prisoner. It's time to show myself to Parker now, and... Hey, what's this? What's going on? He's seen me, but it's too late for him to stop me. I've planned this coup too carefully.
And as Peter Parker, the real Spider-Man, walks calmly by, wrapped in his own deep thoughts.
One burst of this fast-acting sleeping gas will do the trick silently.
And so Dr. Doom makes his first careless mistake, not suspecting that his Geiger-like device had reacted to Peter Parker's presence rather than the imitation Spider-Man's.
Done. Now that all remains is to carry him back to the ship. It was even simpler than I expected. Strange that he should have been so easy to trap. Perhaps Spider-Man possesses less superpowers than people think.
Meanwhile...
I don't get it. What's Flash waiting for?
Parker will be gone in another few seconds.
Maybe something went wrong. Maybe Flash's costume tore or something. Gee, what a disappointment.
Minutes later, after Pete has reached home...
Hey, Aunt May, what are you watching?
The Ed Sullivan Show, dear. I just saw the cleverest juggling act, and now he's going to have a chorus from some Midwestern college.
Say, what's wrong with the set?
I don't know. Oh dear, we just had it fixed last week. I hope it isn't the picture tube.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. There is nothing wrong with your set's reception. Some strange force seems to be affecting all TV transmission at this time. Stand by. Stand by. Boy, this is a new one. We regret that we are unable to continue our transmission. Our electrical power is being drained. Stand by. This is Dr. Doom. I have resorted to this drastic means to communicate with the Fantastic Four. I have a message of grave importance for them. As you can see, I hold Spider-Man a helpless captive, unless the Fantastic Four promise to disband and surrender to me, one at a time. Spider-Man will forfeit his life. I will wait exactly 1 hour for a reply.
Oh, that awful creature. Thank heavens his prisoner is only Spider-Man, who's probably as much as a menace as Dr. Doom.
I don't get it. Who was that Joker in the Spider-Man costume? What's it all about? Is it some kind of trick?
Peter, this is Liz. Something terrible has happened. Flash Thompson is missing. He had dressed in a Spider-Man costume last night to play a joke on somebody.
Aha, I can guess who that somebody was. So that's who Dr. Doom is holding prisoner. My loudmouth bullying classmate. Sorry, Liz, nothing I can do about it. Flash doesn't exactly head my list of favorite people, remember? What a break for me. The Fantastic Four will never agree to Doom's terms, so all I have to do is keep out of it, and Flash Thompson will never bother Peter Parker again. Things are finally going my way. What am I thinking? Who am I kidding? I could no more sit back and let any harm come to Thompson than I could swim to the moon. The real Spider-Man will have to go into action again. Well, see you later, Aunt May. I have to, go out on an errand.
Oh, Peter, no, you mustn't. Not tonight. I absolutely forbid it. You're still just a boy, and with all those terrible people roaming the city, Dr. Doom, Spider-Man, and heaven knows who else, I want you home where it's safe.
Okay, Aunt May, you know the doctor said you mustn't worry. Some superhero I am, I've got to find some way to get my aunt to let me out of the house. I'll just go down here and make sure the cellar windows are locked, Aunt May. Hate to do this, but it's the only way if I remove the master fuse. There! The house is plunged in darkness. Of course, by using my spider sense, it's easy for me to find my way around without light.
Oh, Peter, the lights went out. We must have blown a fuse, and there aren't any more in the house.
I know. Now I'll have to go out to get some new ones.
But please be careful, dear, and hurry right back.
Seconds later.
I certainly hate to deceive Aunt May, bless her, but there was no other way. A teenager's life is at stake, so I had no choice. I'd better give my equipment a fast safety check. Let's see, plenty of web fluid, Spider-Man light beam okay, mask on securely. That's it. Now for Dr. Doom.
And at that very moment, at the famous skyscraper headquarters of the Fantastic Four.
Blasted amateurs, always gumming up the works.
We don't have any more time, Reed. What are we going to do?
Well, Sue, we certainly can't let any harm come to Spider-Man if we can help it. Since when did you get a superhero union card thing, old pal?
Let's face it, you struggled through one of the longest introductions you've ever read, but we think you'll find it well worth it because now the fireworks begin in earnest.
In order to break in on all the network TV shows the way he did, Doom needed a tremendous amount of electrical power, so I've got to search for his hideout in areas where some enormous dynamos may be located. Once I'm near him, my spider instinct will do the rest. The telephone company installation is below me, but I don't sense any hostile presence down there. Here's the broadcasting company building, but still no trace of Laughing Boy. Heck, I've covered half the city by now without finding him. I've got to locate Doom before that hour is up. I ought to have my head examined for knocking myself out to rescue a guy who's my worst enemy, but whoop, hold it. I'm beginning to sense something. Good old spider sense, it hasn't failed me yet. I can feel the hostile emanations clear up here from the abandoned factory below.
And within the silent, gloomy factory.
Let me out of here, please. I'm not Spider-Man. You're making a big mistake, honest. You've got to believe me. You've got to. Silence, you cringing, sniveling coward. The famous Spider-Man. Bah, you're nothing but a frightened weakling. But you will still enable me to gain my objective. The Fantastic Four, spurred on by their stupid gallantry, will not fail to attempt your rescue, and when they come, I shall defeat them, completely irrevocably. Doom probably expects the Fantastic Four to try to save his prisoner, so he must have a zillion traps prepared. But maybe I could throw him a curve by slithering down through this air vent, as only Spider-Man can do it. It's a tight squeeze, but I think I can make it. Phew, this would be some spot for a guy to get claustrophobia. Spider-Man, but you're my prisoner, inside. How? Correction, Doc, I'm the real Spider-Man. You just captured yourself a phony Brand X in there. If that's so, then you were a fool to place yourself in jeopardy again. This time I shall not allow you to escape. Funny, I was thinking just the same about you. Nothing like a quickly built web column to act as a life-saving shield. And now, while I'm all comfy and cozy back here, I'll just spin myself a little weapon of my own. Here we are. Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long, Rustpots, but it takes a few seconds to make a web ball filled with web fluid. You've got to admit one thing, though. It's a great way to teach someone that it isn't polite to point. Very clever, Spider-Man. You have temporarily put my finger blaster out of action. And that's not all I'm going to put out of action. Here's a little stunt inspired by the Human Torch, but I use web balls instead of fireballs. I have found your juvenile antics mildly amusing until now, but I begin to grow bored, and so... Uh-oh, I sense danger above me. He's trying to lead me into a trap. Better build myself another shield for myself fast. Just in time, that falling liquid is turning into ice on contact. I might have been frozen solid. Well, a miss is as good as a mile. Ready to talk turkey yet, Doom? On the contrary, Spider-Man, I want to thank you for acting as a guinea pig for me. I've been wanting to test out this little device for days now. Iron globes revolving at great speed around a magnetic core. You sure have some interesting hobbies, Doc.
More interesting than you suspect, braggart. You'll find your web cannot stop the irresistible motion of my little playthings. They are far too powerful. They're whirling faster and faster. I can't dodge them much longer. Only one chance. I'll dive under them and shoot my web to the base of the spinning machine. It worked. It jammed up the mechanism. The balls are dropping. Their power source no longer propelling them. For the love of Pete, Doom doesn't give a guy a chance to catch his breath. Now he's got liquid heat shooting up from the floorboards. I'd sure feel sorry for anybody who had to fight that walking rattletrap. Especially if they didn't have the powers of a Spider-Man. So you swung over my heat rays out of harm's way, did you? Good, that's just where I want you. You outsmarted yourself that time. I tricked you into landing where you did, and now... the steel section of flooring I landed on. You've got it electrified. He's increasing the current. I can't take much more of it. I would have knocked out a normal human by now. Lucky I loaded up with plenty of web fluid before coming here.
Fighting desperately to maintain consciousness, Spider-Man shoots out his awesome web, which carries with it the same electric current, which is weakening the desperate crime fighter. And as the web strikes the startled Dr. Doom, the same charge of electricity runs through his body, magnified many times by his metal garb.
Ugh, I've caught in my own trap. I've got to switch the current off.
And then, after the electrical charge has been nullified.
Now we'll play it my way, Doom, without any of your kooky gadgets. Not yet, Spider-Man. I am still in control here. And just in case you don't believe me, here's something to convince you. Huh? Behind me? Who? What? The robot! What a fool I was! I forgot about it! Naturally, no one can match the thinking ability of Dr. Doom. And now, even though you are breaking free, it is too late. You will find no defense against this machine. Before I worry about any new machines of yours, here's your playmate back, with my regards. Still, you rely on brute strength, Spider-Man. That will be your undoing. We'll see about that. My spider strength will enable me to smash your new gizmo by tossing your own satellite machine at it. Not quite. Not if I can flip this lever first. Holy smoke! His machine is some sort of disintegrator. It vaporized the metal on the spot. I haven't a chance against it. Well, I can't stand still and let it finish me. Maybe I can dive past the bolts and reach the control panel.
And then, as the deadly bolts from the awesome machine flicker around them, the two mighty foes battle for their lives.
He's even stronger than I expected. Didn't you think I expected you to try that? That bolt, it struck you, but what? Did you think I'd expose myself to my own weapon without taking precautions? I'm insulated against these bolts. They cannot harm me. But you, alas, are not so insulated, as you are now about to learn. It's unbelievable. He's like a human machine. He seems to be tireless. Another inch and I'm done for. Spider strength, if I ever needed you, I need you now.
Exerting every last bit of power contained in a superhuman body, the amazing Spider-Man, executing one last maneuver, manages to twist suddenly so that both figures sprawl against the control panel, bolting the deadly disintegrating bolts.
I did it!
But, on the verge of exhaustion due to his Herculean efforts, Spider-Man cannot prevent his older, more experienced adversary from regaining his balance first and striking the initial blow.
This will be your finish, you clumsy fool! Oof. If I had a dime for every time some cornball predicted my finish, I'd... Hey, now what? Have patience. These little flakes will soon end this battle. For good. He's got me on the defensive again. Something in those glowing flakes has affected my eyes. I can't see. Have to rely on my spider senses alone. Or did he manage to duck out of the way in time? Oh, I should have guessed. It's that accursed inhuman spider sense of his. My eyes are beginning to clear. If I could just jump out of range a few seconds longer. You're only prolonging the agony, Spider-Man. You haven't a chance against me. Hey, what the... It's those iron balls from the satellite machine. I didn't notice them under my foot. I can't keep my balance. And thus shall I defeat all of my mortal enemies, including the Fantastic Four.
But at that fateful second, something outside a nearby window catches the eye of Dr. Doom, and...
No, it can't be. Not now. I am not ready for them yet.
It's the Fantastic Car, with the Fantastic Four inside. They have found me. I can't fight them and Spider-Man, not at the same time. Blast the luck, another few seconds and I'd have finished off Spider-Man forever. Well, at least I prepared a getaway exit for myself. As for Spider-Man, he can wait. There's always another day. I can see again, but Doom is cutting out. Why? So that's it. It's the Fantastic Four. Just like the cavalry in a TV western. Well, their eyes will sure pop when they realize I found Doom first. Wait a minute. I just remembered Aunt May. I left her alone at home. She's probably beside herself with worry about me by now. According to our sensor probe dial, this is the place. Skip the scientific double talk, Skinny. Let's go get 'em. Poor Aunt May, I can't waste a second. I gotta rush back home.
Meanwhile, in Dr. Doom's now abandoned hideout, Flash Thompson finds himself free since the electronic circuits have been destroyed.
Dr. Doom, he's gone. I don't know what happened, but I'm still in one piece. What a lunkhead I was to dress as Spider-Man. If I ever get out of here alive, I'll never ask for trouble again.
Look, it's Spider-Man.
Rabbit. Huh? Wait, don't. Hold it, thing. I've seen Spider-Man close up. That guy isn't even a reasonable facility. You mean we went to all this trouble for a nobody? How about we lean in on him just a little?
Put him down, Ben. The poor boy looks terrified.
Lots of pieces of webbing around. I suspect the real Spider-Man was here.
And on the other side of town,
Aunt May. She doesn't answer. Gosh, if anything's happened to her.
Here I am, Peter. I got nervous in the house alone, so I went next door to stay with our neighbors. Did you get the fuses, dear?
Oh, I forgot. Well, I'll tell her I was too scared to walk the dark streets alone.
the next day at the office of Jonah Jameson.
Some great news photographer you are, Parker. Last night a teenager named Flash Thompson escaped from Dr. Doom. The Fantastic Four found Doom's hideout, but they must have scared him away. And not one measly photo from you. Sorry, Mr. Jameson, I was home last night. I've got to sleep sometime.
Wouldn't feel too badly, Peter. I may only be JJ's secretary, but I think you are wonderful.
The next day.
Gosh, I never realized that Betty felt that way about me. As a matter of fact, I never realized how I felt about her either. Say, look at the crowd of kids. Well, at least this is one that I won't have to listen to Flash ribbing me. He must be the most embarrassed kid in school by now. Wow, tell us more, Flash. Naturally, I wasn't scared of that crumb Dr. Doom. He couldn't keep me a prisoner for long. When he saw I escaped, he was so worried that he ran out before I could get my mitts on him. Gosh, Flash, this'll really make you the bamok around here now.
Why so gloomy looking, Peter? Although I suppose I shouldn't blame you for being jealous of a real he-man like Flash.
I might as well face it. I've got nothing but luck. And it's all bad.
Thanks to your overwhelming response to Peter Parker's offbeat adventures, Spider-Man is now published monthly. Don't be a Johnny-come-late. Reserve your copy of the sensational issue number 6 at your news dealer now. You won't want to miss the new supervillains, super adventures, and super surprises in store for you. The end.
Well, guys, that was issue number 5 of The Amazing Spider-Man. This was Spider-Man's first introduction to Dr. Doom, and I have a feeling that we're probably going to be seeing him more in the future. He is definitely a villain that Spider-Man probably won't be able to take on all by himself. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this series, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.